Hello, America. I know everybody should be anyway, pretty focused on the various events that are going on in this country. So, this is my first live video. Let's get that out the way. And, well, actually, it's not. Um, I did a live video in the night that Mr. Floyd was killed. Between that night and the next day, it was within a day or two of that. And all the flurry and the protests and everything. Um, and then I did an introduction video for a YouTube channel that I just created, I guess a month or so ago, so that I could share a healing process journey for myself and with anyone out there that was interested in either hearing about it, learning about some of the things that I've researched in depth, um, and just finding a way, path, a road to somehow heal and not take more lifetimes, more lives, more centuries, and all of it. So I hope you can hear me pretty clearly. And see me pretty clearly, because I can see myself on the phone that I'm reaching up to, because for some reason it's timing out. So you'll just see me do that. And I've watched many other YouTube videos, and I'm looking down because I have notes, but I'm also looking down because I'm not used to looking up at the camera. So I'll get better. But anyway, first let me give honor to God. How about that one? Not a people, not a lot of people, yeah. Courageous enough to do that in public or on live. And according to the word I've been taught, that I know, that if you're ashamed of him, he'll be ashamed of you. And I'm not ashamed. So there we have that part. I'm a Christian, saved person. So I'm a Christian, saved, or a Christian sinner, saved by grace. Baptized more than once. Better than you? No. Prefer to have, decent conduct and respect of others, love and care for others? Yes. Now, second, I would like to give my sincerest and deepest condolences to and to not unequalize anyone, because they're all blessed lives. The current family, and probably in the last 24 to 48 hours news cycle, it may be some other current family, but the family that has been mentioned with regards to the look, too many black bodies covering the streets in the hospitals, and I'm not talking about just COVID-19. Okay, so I came on my channel because I've been trying my best to get started with this healing journey that you can actually see the description and read on the channel, but I've not been able to do so because I have been going through systemic racism myself in a civil court battle royale. And you guys wouldn't believe it. It's like the Wild Wild West. It's like lawlessness. You know, I do own one, but I might as well have on, it might as well be black and white cowboy hats. And the clothing that, people wore in the Wild Wild West. It's just been in my way. But back to that second thing. My sincerest and deepest condolences for all of the Black lives lost. Lately, recently, going back to the slave ships, but especially these mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and family members and friends and neighbors of all races that have cried and marched and protested and met and gathered and giving speeches and tears over these incidents in their variety. Police involved, neighbor involved, whomever is involved, and near killings, arguments, and all of this mayhem over what? COVID, I don't know. Really? Elections, who, mask, no mask. Really? Really? Let me finish get my condolence and stuff out. Because this live stream is supposed to be about the systemic racism that I'm being crushed under. But I'm still alive. So I don't want to put me just totally in front of people that have been killed, people that are hurting, Black people, people of color, descendants of Africans, descendants of slaves around the world, white people who care about them, or who just care about humanity, who are not racist, who are not evil, who are not violent, who are not unfair. And their loved ones, COVID concerns, kids, schools and teachers and such. All the COVID in the prisons, the fear and stuff, and a chunk of people related to them, friends with them, really concerned, worried. These people have children out here and wives and mothers and grandmothers. Then I'm sure a chunk of people are like, well, whatever. Maybe they should have went to prison. Well, any of you Christians out there thinking like that, well, y'all know that's wrong. That's color blindness. Not saying we're not human. We're all entitled to our opinion. I've been watching people's opinions for so long, really. And we're all entitled to our feelings, our upbringings, our traditions. Where are we from? What were we told? What weren't we told? That doesn't excuse bad behavior, misconduct, right versus wrong. I wouldn't want it to be me, my family members, my no. I don't know how it feels in here because it hasn't happened to me yet. I don't want it to. But for the people it's been happening to, and we're watching it, hearing about it, loop de loop news cycles, pictures, videos. I can't even imagine. I got some issues for real going on. I can't even imagine. Look, I've had some issues going on since I graced this earth as an infant. I can't even imagine. I don't want to. I try, and then I have to pray. I have to get it out of my head. The images, the news clips, reading about it late at night on my phone, stuff jumping in. I try to not relate. I try to wonder, what is that? It's horrible. Seeing the images of dead bodies, seeing the images of injured Black bodies, seeing the poor people, minorities of a variety of races, even mixed races, people mixed with white, people that are not rich, average folk, poorer than that, lower than that, homeless. So what we got? Homeless, poverty, low. This class system, what is it? Low, poverty line, lower than that, middle, lower middle, middle, upper middle. Really? Suburban, guys would not. I have tried my best for years. This has been going on for years to not go here. I have been pushed. And the people I'm talking about, they know I've been pushed. My family, we've been pushed. We've been pushed to this point for me to share with the public some of this stuff. Look, an NFL player's son who's been in the NFL, let's put it like that, was drunk or under the influence of alcohol and hit our car some years ago. It was a multi-car crash, by the way. Crash, claim, incident. It was multi-cars. They have money. They had insurance. The insurance company accepted liability. They just had a little car, A and B, get you from here to yonder. That was 2016. Let's just get that straight. What is this, 2020? I'm tired. Then, with some issues and errors with a claim and wrongdoing, we run out of the 2 years that you can take it to court and get some going, some fairness, some justice. That doesn't even begin to cover the hot mess details. That's just the insurance claim part of it. Filing it in court. In 2018,
the first judge, because we've had more than one judge. You know what he said? Something like this. Because I know I'm live. All that quoting people and stuff. I'm not fixing to quote nobody unless I say quote, end quote. So something like this. Because let me get something straight real fast. Representing yourself is your right. Look it up look at the Constitution. It's an old right. One of the most important rights. Go way back on, two farmers or two landowners, somebody arguing over which end of the stake is theirs and the cow crosser. That representing yourself is old. It's an old, very important right. We all know everybody can afford attorneys. We all know or should know adults, young adults and up. We know you can't make an attorney take your case. I don't care if it's racehorse hangs evidence. That's just a little saying, like it's the greatest evidence on it. Yeah, whatever. You can't make anybody take your case. And don't let them have been around for a while. Lawyers, they don't need your stinking case, your stinking money that you don't have. And or you're not going to be able to afford their daggone rates that they want to charge. So look at that for even seeking justice. That's before we even get into the injustice, systemic racism, and all of that. Please don't let them be racist. You think you think they're going to take your case? Well, look, I can't tell nobody what somebody's going to do to your case. This is about the one that I got something to do with. So this is about representing yourself. Let's get that clear. Not easy. It's hard as heck. But it's not impossible. And all things are possible through God, which strengthens us. But it sure is hard. But just because it's hard, that doesn't mean that it's right to be mistreated, discriminated against. Did nobody try to get rich off of no freaking accident? He was the one drinking. All these people involved, they got more money than we do. Fix the car. Or pay for another one similar or something. I sound like I sound right now. The little fuzz come on because I don't have my little gel slick no more. I don't care. I don't care. Because of how I feel about this. This is real. When I have a freaking straw, I want to drop dead. What kind of justice is that? I hope my volume is up enough where I can be heard. And I hope it's not too loud where it's like I'm screaming. Forgive me. I'll check it. When I see this, like y'all seeing it, when I look, I'm like, oh, what? If I cared about how I looked so wonderful or great, I wouldn't be on here. This is serious stuff. Now, what I'm going to try to do is calm my nerves down so I can start the video series, if that's, that I feel so led and so impassioned to do with regards to the history. How did we get here? Not just the word slavery and racism, Jim Crow. Not just the words. How did we get here? Then I hear, oh, well, how do we move forward? Well, you know what? I've dug deep, and a lot of people have, to try to help us understand in a chronological order of heaviness how we got here. But I'm a doer. As you can see, talking about representing yourself in court, I'm a doer. I believe in trying to find solutions, resolutions, help, get it straight, straighten it out. And I know that's not easy. I'm not naive, stupid, dumb, or throwed. For those that know what throwed means, y'all know where I'm coming from. If you don't know what throwed means, I don't even know if you can look it up. But just imagine, based on what I've told you so far and how I'm looking, when I do this, throwed. Okay, well, imagine is not a very, uppity do word. Okay. And let's get something else straight before the judgment comes from folk. Because whenever you put yourself in the public, what you gonna get? What you gonna get? You're gonna get your good, your bad, your ugly, your indifferent, or who cares? If you don't think you're gonna get that, so let me say this. I have a lot of friends from my past. Good friends, like siblings, best friends. But we've lost touch with each other. But I got two that have been steadfast, they still around. One is black, like me. And I'll let, am I black all the way, or, black like me? Because my skin color is just not light enough. Not only to pass for white, which I wouldn't want to do, it's not light enough for me to even try to go there. But my best friend that's still there, like a sister to me, she's black. Yeah, another black chick. My other best friend, just like a sister to me, they both all off up in here, is white. I'm not finna give you their names and all that. I love them both. So for all of you guys looking, black, white, mixed, all kind of other minorities, whether you're descendants of slaves from different parts of the world, whatever. This is not just about me. This is not just about you. This is not just about one thing. I'm not selfish like that. Police officers have helped me, and I don't ever want to be around or come across, or my family come across, the police officers that have been guilty of, charged of, need to be charged, about to be charged, whatever, of these killings and murders, and just in the public. Really? So police officers of different races have been nice and kind and helpful to me, then including white. Then police officers, this stuff. So am I supposed to like them because I like, no? Am I supposed to like racist white people because I got a best white friend that I love all up in here? Church members that are white all up in here? Am I supposed to ignore that I'm black? Ignore practically, like public executions or something in the modern time? Really? We back in the medieval days or what? This stuff is wrong. I'm old enough to remember what happened to when there was de-escalation, or not even an escalation of matters. These types of matters, policing matters and whatnot. What happened to that? I'm not talking about the way back to Jim Crow. We're going to get into that in that video series of healing with the history in chronological order from slavery to slave ships to now. That's not, I'm not going back that far. I'm talking about modernness. And it's a little bit back. What happened to the police using their cars and the trucks and different as protection for themselves? They got guns and whatnot, but also they're just and using it as megaphone. You know, a lot of times I think the chief or somebody used to go out with them or whatever. I don't think they do it anymore. Anywho, and be behind the cars, not because they're afraid, but because they're protecting their lives. They want to go home, used to be, and well, I mean, I'm sure they still do, and trying to protect the public, innocent bystanders, maybe an alleged suspect, whatever. And then they used to call to the microphone, come out, you know, put your hands up. So we're not going to shoot or whatever, or do this, you know, giving instructions and commands because, you know, people looking at broad daylight, and then that's a life you're talking about. Then it's a suspect. What if it's the wrong person? What if they got a twin? There was a time when I saw more of that. It wasn't just on movies. It was real. So that, you know, whatever happened to, I don't know, somebody got wounded in the leg because they was running and they were a suspect, or, you know, for sure they got for sure about them. And they couldn't stop them, but they wanted to seek justice for that person's alleged crime or whatever, and protect the public wherever they were running to, whatever. So whatever happened to shoot to wound instead of shoot to kill? I'm ex-military. I'm retired military. So don't go there with me as if I don't know. By shoot. Whatever happened to, it will hurt. But whatever happened to, I'd much rather be shot in the leg or something where I can't run. And you better be right that I'm the one that you're supposed to be shooting at. Else I'm going to file a complaint. And what they usually lead to, like lawsuits and all that, that's why these cities halfway broke. But look, whatever happened to all of the ways that you can try to catch or detain a person, but I just flat out killing them? Dang, my jail is drying up. And look, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm a goofy person and all of that ever since I was born. That's just me. So I may say something, a facial expression, you know, eyes get all popped up and stuff. And somebody might sniggle at that or whatever, but y'all know none of this stuff is funny. So it's not jokey joke hour. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't need views and likes. And if but one person watch this, feel somehow better, or join me on the healing journey videos that I'm going to start doing, then praise the Lord, that's good enough for me. And I'm sitting up looking down at the thing when I know I'm supposed to be looking up at it. But anywho, all these folks scared to come out and be who they are. You don't have to curse or threaten anyone or break a law to speak. Protest, explain, communicate, give solutions, write them down, email, fax them, mail them by certified mail. If you don't want it to get not necessarily lost, but if you just put regular stamps on stuff going to the government or to important places or whatever, good luck. Okay. And somebody saying, oh, they know where it's at. All right. Put like this, I send my stuff by certified mail, you know, email, fax, so you can have a receipt. So I know it seems conjoined. There's the killings and the protests going on, and the empathies and sympathies going to those families, those persons, the individuals themselves, their souls and spirits, their bodies, then their families, especially their parents and children and wives, their immediate siblings, then so forth. You know, they close first cousins, best friends, and so forth, neighbors and such. Then people that's sick from COVID, healing from it. Majority minorities, but still everybody else too, because that's throwed. The ones who have passed, really? No, or some kind of social distance funeral or some kind of service on Zoom? Who knew, right? Who would have thought we would be here? And further condolences to the recent passing of so many. Representative Lewis, okay? I feel my phone up taking daggone me pictures as if it ain't gonna be on YouTube. It's just all up in here with that. And the other one that passed the same day, I wasn't as familiar with him. I'm of a certain age, but not to that degree. I just wasn't. But I mean, I know he was, you know, in that fight. A lot of people still here that was in that civil, all that. Or without using my dialect tone, all of that. Let's not get that twisted either as to whether or not I can properly enunciate. I'm aggravated, so I'm going to be like this 1 minute and then, you know, try to pull it back together in the next, you know. So I can't really say politics aside because it's politics all over the place. And not just because it's an election year. It's always politics. I'm not going to say politics aside because it ain't aside nowhere. It's everywhere. Just like racism is. But my condolences to the president's family, human beings, for the recent loss of their loved one. I know some people don't care, but that's not nice. That's not me. Hurt hurts. Besides, being humble and showing humility is respectful. And then to show humility is to hopefully receive it back. But if you want humility and whatever else you want for that matter, with regards to respect and humility and kindness, well, if you're not willing to give it out, how do you expect to get it back? Just because? Anybody I left out? I didn't leave you out. I'm just too hot because this little fan I got right here, it is little. And this light over me is supposed to be for YouTubers. Is hot. I had some. Oh, I know people that like, girl, I saw you on YouTube and you was a hot mess. And so is this situation. I'm in. So is this situation. Most of us are in. So is this situation. Black folks. So is this situation. a lot of people are in because they're against what's been happening to people of color. So is the situation with the COVID and mask and what the world for that matter, jobs and all of it. So people, that's much more important to me, even though we must present ourselves, in a decent fashion and grooming and when child, I'm not thinking about my little tired braids. And my little small amount of makeup that look like it's done sweated off. But I don't wear that much. So whatever. I'm just being me. You know what? I'm not interviewing for nothing. I'm not asking for nothing. So think what you think. I'm being real right now. All that because you lighter skinned than out or whatever, that's not stopping me from being stomped into the ground in the court system. And I wasn't even wearing braids. I had my hair straight. That didn't matter. Wig, weaves, all that. You wake up black, you go to sleep black. But when you wake up black, you wake up a human being first. Somebody else start calling you black. God calls you his child. Not something from a box of crayons or cans of paint. Now, back to what I was trying to, because I didn't want to leave out, condolences and death and murder and hurting, crying families and protesters. This heat and all that. I didn't want to leave anybody out. But I'm going to end this particular live so that it's not too convoluted in what my reasoning for having this channel about the finding healing, coming along with me on this healing journey with regards to how we got here and even before slavery, just a little bit to now. Deep stuff. I mean, stuff we know or knew or thought we know or think we know or thought we knew. Huh. So I want to leave you with this, since the title was the current of this video, my current experience of systemic racism that I'm experiencing in Texas civil courts or something like that. Let me tell you, I said it a little while ago, but I kind of got off because I wanted to pay homage to God and give my condolences. So if you got an issue with me getting off because of that, oh well, I'm sorry. Not really, not sorry. Okay. I had mentioned that the original judge we had, do y'all know what he said? Like I said, I'm not going to quote it verbatim, but something real close to this. Just because you can read and write, that don't mean you can represent yourself. First of all, I thought all that reading, writing, arithmetic stuff, I thought that all that kind of talk was left way back yonder somewhere. Apparently not. Second of all, I type over 100 words per minute. So, and thirdly, the nerve. Who does that? What places that happen in a court? When you have presented the proper documentation by the law, by the proper procedures, carrying yourself in a proper manner, proper court decorum, proper, all of it, respect and decency and what does upon introduction part of the case, I'm talking about the first part of it, not like way off into it and it was some good times. What does a white judge or non-black, and with non-black people, lawyers representing the other folks, so in other words, we're the only blacks in there. Who does that in this age and time? In a setting like that, and you're not presenting yourself in a way where you're saying, and your papers are disheveled, you're disheveled, you just all over the mess, you're all over the place, you're a hot mess. Even if you were, what makes that right to reference something that is so right? Everybody know didn't nobody want black people, slave people, African people, African descendants to go to school and learn nothing, how to read and write. And when I say everybody knows, I'm talking about anyone and everyone that is a learned or studied person or young adult and above that is aware or has been taught about slavery and the history of cultures and its aspects and what happened and so forth to a degree. That you weren't supposed to be able to, you couldn't learn how to read and write. It's against the law. So what judge is going to say something like that within these modern times to somebody that actually can read and write? See, this is what I'm talking about. So y'all don't even know the half of it. But it just, when I woke up, I was like, this is it. This is it. And see, I'm not giving names and all that at this moment. Y'all see I'm not doing that. I'm expressing this disgust I got in here, this hurt I have in here for these topics that I've mentioned, these things that I've mentioned. Sick of this junk. It's in the courtroom. It's in the boardroom. It's at the country club. It's at the church house. It's at the workplace. It's in the park. It's in law enforcement, making all the good cops look bad and making them mad and upset and their families. Racism, racial injustice, systemic racism / corruption is everywhere. And so for those speaking out against it, I just did to whatever my little degree right now. And stomping the pavement. By the way, I was very proud of all of you folks that protested right after Mr. Floyd was killed, murdered on live television around the world. That's why the world responded. God touch his family still right this moment, and the families before his and the ones now. I was so proud of you all. I was about this close to the TV. I was astonished. Not that we haven't been here before, back in the Civil Rights March and all that, folks' dogs and fire hoses, beating folks and all that. I was so proud of you all. It was hot as heck. I wanted to give everybody some water. I was thinking, I ain't got enough water bottles for all these people. I was like, Lord, please don't let them pass out and marching and carrying on. But all of the young people, especially, but I saw some older folks too. But most of you young people, I was so proud of y'all. Holding them signs, just so crowded, and then y'all knowing it's COVID, you know. And y'all was just like, enough is enough. This is ridiculous. And it just warmed my heart to see y'all not hot and thirsty, but y'all was just like the Energizer battery or something. Y'all was just like, I was thinking to myself, well, I'm watching all of this. I don't see nobody going in nowhere to get them nothing to eat. I'm like, these people got some something. Now, don't get it twisted. I know I'm looking all in my background, so don't get it twisted about nobody that damaged anything or anyone. Damaged, destroyed, profanity, acting up, throwing stuff, spitting in people's face, even police all over. Come on now. I wasn't proud of that. Get it twisted. I didn't see the necessity in none of that. It's embarrassing, it's illegal, it's ridiculous, it's disrespectful. Takes from the message. I'm not from the first one to say that. Hijacking the cause, really. But this cause is so old and long and horrible and brutal. It can't be hijacked to that degree. But it sure made a mess of things. And it continues to do it when people run in the midst of protesters trying to get justice for Black lives and deaths and minorities and issues and unfairness and poverty for across the board. Because poverty don't care what color you are. And neither does COVID. So I was proud of the courage, because this takes courage, what I'm doing. I know that. Trust ain't my first rodeo. I was proud of the courage, and I was proud of the togetherness that I saw of the races. That just, because back in the gap, you know, that means back in the day, you know, like some years back during the civil rights movement, I saw white people, especially a big march on Washington, the anniversary yesterday, so many years ago. Of course, I saw different races of people. God bless everybody that was there, and for a good reason. And the Pettis Bridge and all of that, of course I saw, but the majority of the people that I saw getting beat up and water the dogs and stuff, and other different protests in history, some of which we'll go over in a video, is majority Black people getting beat up and water holes and dog bites and violence. So it did warm my heart to see whites and whatever other non-Black race you are, and then Blacks of all mixtures and color, descendants of African slaves, coming together here. Then the world had your back. That the looting and all of that, and folks dropping stuff, and then the looter dropped something and somebody snatched the looter stuff. But so what, the looter stole from the looter who stole from the store? Really? these families continue to grieve and hurt and ask on worldwide television, we don't want any violence. We don't want any looting. We don't want any that. And what happens? People that are sick and tired of this, people that support them, go out in this heat or if it's cold or rain or whatever, and they support the families, the lost, the deceased, their souls, their blessed bodies, their children, their lives that are gone, and the cause from slavery on to now. And then what happens? Somebody, intentional somebodies, and then just somebodies that just being buck wild. Okay? You might have the good intention and to be upset, angry, good intention for the cause and everything to protest. And then you just decide, well, heck with it, I'm gonna go buck wild. I'm gonna end on that note because obviously, again, because of my own frustration of what I'm going through in this civil court situation, there's just, like I said, it's lawlessness. It's the wild, wild west for real, not for play. It's ridiculous. It hurts. If you can see a little gray fuzz, well, don't trust where it came from. The stress, trust where that came from. Instead of talking about me, trust. My family don't gray early. And yes, they have some black spray that you can spray on your hair to make it dark. I ain't talking about dyeing. I'm talking about some spray they done came up with. I could have used that if I was so concerned about what somebody would think. Child, please. I used some before, but it kind of got gummy a little. But I mean, it does work. I might use some in the future. But as far as today, I didn't. And humans are more important than my hair. Now I'm gonna give y'all some more insight on this. Papers found on this court situation. That's doggish as heck, but not right now on this video. I'm gonna have to come because I don't know how long this has been. I've watched YouTube videos every day. Some of them be 1 minute, 5 minutes. I like them quick ones. Some be 10 minutes. I always say, okay, I watch the 5 to 10 minutes because quick, I got stuff to do. But honey, I done sat and watched the ones that be almost 2 hours. They interesting enough, and some of them it kind of be slow or whatever. But I just be like, well, I think I'm gonna turn off, and then I'll be like, well, no, let me keep watching. So if you watching it and you watched it, praise the Lord, thank you. Or maybe I don't even have to say thank you. I ain't asking you for nothing at this moment. I was just sharing my heartfelt condolences because it does hurt. And it does concern you about it could be it could be your loved ones. And it's not fair to be selfish just because it wasn't you yet or it wasn't you. And that includes COVID-19. It's not fair. Because it's majority, minority, or some statistics, but it's still other people. So it's not fair to not care about what happens to somebody else. Gotta be careful about that. Because then if or when it's your turn, then what? You're going to want care if you're ill. You're going to want empathy if you lose a loved one. If you can't afford funerals, you're going to want funds and GoFundMe, all that kind of stuff. Don't be a hypocrite on top of racism. I'm not saying who's a racist. I don't have to say who's a racist. Look in the mirror, do some study, or come along with my videos, and you won't have to do all the studying. I've done it for you. And I'm going to give you the sources where I got it from. Ask yourself. If the shoe does not fit you, you don't have to worry about wearing it. I'm going to say peace on this one. And God bless the suffering families of the lost Black lives and the coronavirus and the jobs and businesses and the government to govern and lead properly and correctly. Those that are great, those that aren't, bring it up. And God bless America because it sure needs it. It's asking me, am I sure I want to end my stream? The end for now. Oh, I was going to look up here. For now.